When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. The first step is to establish that something is possible. Then probability will occur. If you get up in the morning and think the future will be better, it is a bright day. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is possible for me to work harder and make the company successful than if I just owned a desk. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "What's wrong with a horse?" He didn't stop moving forward. If you need inspiration, don't do it. You need to have a burning desire to change the world. Great companies are built on great products, not on the ambitions of people in marketing or sales. The goal of a company is to have a product that is so compelling that people want to recommend it to others. Starting and growing a company is as intense as eating glass and staring into the abyss. I take the position that I'm always, to some degree, wrong, and the aspiration is to be less wrong over time. Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people who work for me did. You want to have a future where you're expecting things to be better, not one where you're afraid of what's coming next. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference to humanity. If you are not progressing, you are regressing. Always move forward. If something has to be designed and invented, you have to figure out how to ensure it will actually work. You have to be pretty driven to make it happen. Otherwise, you will just make yourself miserable. A company is a group of people organized to create a product that will make a difference. You need to focus on the signals and not the noise. My motivation for all my companies is to be involved in something that I think would have a significant impact on the world. One of the biggest mistakes people make is to hire based on a resume rather than talent and potential. I always have optimism, but I am realistic. Failure is part of innovation. If you go back a few hundred years, what we take for granted today would seem like magic. Some people are like, "Why are you still working so hard?" I say, because I want to. Starting a company is like chewing glass and staring into the abyss. When you struggle with a problem, that's when you really learn. You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve. I think AI will unlock extraordinary powers, but we need to be cautious. It must be developed safely. Physics is a good framework for thinking, to boil things down to their fundamental truths and reason up from there. A great engineer is someone who can simplify complex things, not make simple things complex. Being an entrepreneur is like eating glass and staring into the abyss of death. You should take the approach that you're wrong. Your goal is to be less wrong over time. You should never give up. No matter how hard it seems, you'll eventually make it. Talent is extremely important. It's like a sports team. The team that has the best individual players usually wins.